What's good, people? It is Tony the Savant. And before we get started, please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. If you have not already, please subscribe, join the fam as I drop content daily. Go live daily, stay very busy on the platform. And last but not least, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, as I'm always intrigued to know what you all have to say about these topics. And ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk about what's turning out to be we got to talk about what's turning out to be a very um, interesting situation with the Dallas Cowboys. As if you weren't aware, they are in contract negotiations with three of their marquee players, one being Dak Prescott, the next CD Lamb, and I also Micah Parsons. Now, there's some twists and turns involving all three of these contract negotiations, but we're just going to focus on Dak Prescott, of course, as he and Jerry Jones have had some back and forth of some sorts in the media involving his contract negotiations. And one thing I've learned about these contract negotiations in sports, once the media starts getting sound bites and all this kind of stuff, things don't typically end well. As Dak has made a mention, he's opened the door of him playing for another team. And Jerry Jones has made a mention of, what life would be like after Dak Prescott. So, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, if you weren't aware, Dak Prescott is on a contract that I don't feel he is worthy of. And that's just going off his body of work. Not saying the man doesn't deserve the money that he gets, but I don't think that he should be getting as much as he's getting pertaining to in relation to his production on the football field. As for a career, Dak Prescott is has a 67 completion percentage. He's thrown for a little under 30,000 yards, 29,459, averages about 7.6 yards a throw, 202 touchdowns, 74 interceptions. His longest pass is for 92 yards, and his quarterback rating for his career is 99.0. And for a fourth round draft pick, those are not bad numbers. But if we're just looking at the stats, Dak Prescott does look phenomenal. He does look like almost you can say a $55 million quarterback. And that's what he'll be making this season. But actually seeing the eye test, seeing how Dak has come up short, and on the biggest stages, it's kind of, what can I say, deflating, because he does have such phenomenal numbers, because he is a fourth round draft pick and he has produced much higher than his draft. His draft pick. Excuse me, I'm all over the place right now. He has performed higher than a fourth round draft pick's projection. But again, when he's on the biggest stages of his career, he looks like a fourth round draft pick through and through. And I've always said this about Dak. I personally like him. I like his skill set. I like his approach to the game. But he's not a guy that you can depend on in the big season, in the big games. Hopefully the Dallas Cowboys have had elite defenses, and I've always said that if they were going to win a championship, it was going to be behind their defense, not Dak Prescott. He's a good game manager. I guess you can depend on him of some sorts throughout the game to be productive. But to me, on the biggest stages and the biggest games of his career, that's typically when Dak comes up short. But he's also going for a 5-year, $300 million contract, or at least an extension, I believe. And that's where he and the Dallas Cowboys are at a bit of an odd. Because that Jerry Jones has said in the media that, and I'm kind of paraphrasing here. I listened to the interview and I actually read another article talking about it. But he said pretty much that there's been things in his life, believe it or not, that he couldn't afford, and he's never made a fuss about it. He's just kind of going on with his life, moved on from it, kind of indicating that Dak Prescott is kind of outpricing himself from the negotiation table. Obviously, the Dallas Cowboys would love to extend Dak, but I believe the Dallas Cowboys are trying to get Dak on a bit of a discount because he is a fourth round draft pick, and because they're under the belief, I'm 100% sure, that they have developed Dak into what he is. So they want a bit of a home discount, and Dak Prescott is saying pretty much no, and rightfully so, depending on your stance on it. And he wants the 5-year, $300 million extension. That would put him at about $60 million, I believe, a year. Um, and so, would automatically make him the highest paid NFL player in NFL history at that point. But the Dallas Cowboys they don't really want to commit to Dak Prescott in that sense because they're not positively sure how they'll fill out the rest of the roster. As aforementioned, CeeDee Lamb's contract, and of course the booming wide receiver market right now. And then coming up next year, you're talking about Micah Parsons' contract negotiation. So again, a lot of twists and turns. A lot of decisions that need to be made. And before I forget, Dak Prescott responded directly to Jerry Jones's comments pertaining to him potentially outpricing himself. Dak said that, hey, all of his favorite quarterbacks have played for different teams. They came up with one franchise, moved on to different teams, and so that and so in that he feels like if he's not with the Dallas Cowboys come next season, then that may or may not be his decision. Essentially, I'm kind of butchering this quote, but essentially it was saying that, hey, life after the Cowboys is something that's a possibility, but nothing to fear right now. There is still a possibility the Dallas Cowboys are foolish enough to give Dak Prescott this money. I'm under the impression that they have to extend Dak, CeeDee, and Micah. They may be able to keep two of the three. I think you have to keep CeeDee Lamb. You don't get a wide receiver of his talent and skill set every year in the draft. We'll see what Micah Parsons is about, but I wouldn't argue against him getting his money. And Dak is kind of like the odd man out, being the most expensive of the three options. And also, as far as production on the field, one can argue, he's not in the class of quarterbacks that should be getting $60 million annually. But that's just kind of where everything is at right now. People are speculating that this could potentially mean a breakup, for Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott has been there close to a decade, never gotten the Dallas Cowboys to an NFC Championship game and or Super Bowl, of course. And it's just kind of getting to the point where I feel like the fan base is getting antsy. Now it seems like the Cowboys organization are getting a little antsy. Although I just want to say again, for a disclaimer, I feel like the Dallas Cowboys are trying to get their star players, all three of these guys, on a discount. Primarily the reason why CeeDee Lamb is having a holdout pretty much. He's not even at the facility. At least Dak is still showing up and going to work. CeeDee Lamb is still having a holdout. And so sorry, I was reading this dang on article. Ultimately, Clarissa Shields got the knockout, just getting the notifications for her. Sorry, y'all got a little distracted. But anyway, my conclusion to the video is that I feel like that Dak Prescott may be very well planned for another team next season. I made a video about this situation a couple of days ago, I believe about a week ago, and I said that I feel like Dak Prescott could be with the Los Angeles Rams. He could be the successor to Matthew Stafford over there. Matthew Stafford is 36. He may have a little bit more juice left in the orange, but ultimately, we're coming down to the nitty gritty with him. Even if the Rams decided to move on from him and he decided to play with another team, I feel like Dak Prescott will most likely be with the Los Angeles Rams next season. That's just my hot take right now. We'll see how events play out. But at the end of the day, we'll see if what the Dallas Cowboys do if they are willing to negotiate. Again, I've thought that Dak would have been moved from off the Dallas Cowboys before he got his last mega deal. To his credit, he didn't get moved. He got his bag. And I found out something, a little fact. I'm not sure if y'all knew, but guys that were drafted outside of the first round in the NFL draft, the organization that drafts you, they don't have a fifth year option, or at least control of that fifth year option. So more times than not, a guy like Jamar Chase, he'll be making. And I forget exactly. I'm gonna have to explain this a little further, but this is just the thing that I learned, that they don't have control of their fifth year option. So guys like a Dak Prescott or Brock Purdy, there's some other guys I had on my mind, but guys like that, they hit the free agent market a year earlier. So they'll typically hit the free agent market around their fourth year, when a lot of these other third or fourth year, when a lot of these other guys start petitioning for extensions around their fourth or fifth year. Excuse me. So just an interesting fact I learned about the NFL business. Again, it's very insightful, but also interesting when it comes down to this situation. Again, when I'm doing this research into all these contracts and all that kind of stuff, there's so many twists and turns and incentives and sign-in bonuses that get factored into it, and the whole guaranteed money thing. I was reading into some contracts about how the NFL, even though they say it on the contract and writing and even verbally, they say guaranteed, that there's so many twists and turns inside those contracts that can nullify that quote unquote guaranteed money, which totally, defeats the definition of guaranteed, right? But just doing some research, trying to get a better understanding of how these situations are playing out at the table. Of course, not privy to all the information, but very interesting to find that out. And that's why Dak is trying to get his bag the way he is, But again, I feel like the Dallas Cowboys are kind of being cheap in this situation with their star players. And they kind of feel like they developed these dudes. They developed these guys into what they are. So again, we'll see how this thing plays out. That's all I got for y'all on this one. Please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. As well, if you haven't already joined the fam, please do so now. Subscribe to the channel as I drop content daily. Go live daily. Stay very busy on this platform. And last but not least, y'all leave y'all thoughts and opinions in the comment section. I'm always interested to know what y'all got to say about these topics. I am Tony the Savant. Peace.